What's up, home bartenders? You know, I don't think I've ever actually had an Appletini.
Appletini, please. Easy on the teeny. Wow, you can really taste the apples.
So today we're going to make our very own sour apple liqueur. And it starts with making a green apple vodka, which we've done before. So you can check out that video, but I'm also gonna just run you through the gist of it. It's pretty simple, but I haven't found much uses for it. So I figured let's just use what I have and transform it into a sour apple liqueur. Okay, so we already have the green apple vodka. We need to make a sour apple syrup, blend the two together, adjust the acid and the sweetness levels, and then we have a amazing sour apple liqueur that you can make your own Appletinis and whatever. All right, let's do it.
Okay, so in a previous episode, we made vodka infusions. One of them was green apple. So what we want is about 300 ml of vodka. I know the recipe says 500, but we're doing about half a batch. So 300 ml of vodka and about one full green apple chopped up. We're then gonna sous vide for about 2 hours at 135. If you're doing it in a mason jar, you're gonna have to infuse for about 7 days. And then we strain out the apples and we have a wonderful green apple vodka. Onto the syrup now. In a pot, we're gonna mix about a cup of apple juice, clear apple juice. Don't use like cloudy cider. And then we want a cup of white sugar and a cup of chopped green apple once again. So equal parts, regardless of how much you're making, it's about equal parts. We're going to stir that and heat it. We want to basically bring it to a boil. This can boil, it's not gonna ruin it. We want to dissolve all that sugar. We want those apples to soften and release their juices. So just keep simmering until the apples are nice and soft. After that, we're going to remove it from the heat and allow it to cool completely.
All right, our syrup is cooled and we've strained out the apple bits. It's nice and sweet and great apple flavor. But this is sour apple syrup, so we need to add some acids. We're gonna be using citric and malic acid, but if you only have citric, that's fine.
Okay, so we're gonna add about a teaspoon of our citric acid to our syrup. I got a half teaspoon measurement, so I got 2 of those. And then we're gonna do a half teaspoon measurement of malic acid. As I mentioned, if you only have citric, it'll work just fine. Give that a good stir, make sure to dissolve all that acid powder. Especially that malic acid, the granules are a little chunkier, so it took a while to dissolve. But just keep going, and then we're gonna give it a taste and adjust if necessary.
I think that's just on the mark. It really tastes like those sour green apple Jolly Ranchers. They're very sweet, but they do have that little sourness to it. It's not super sour. If you wanna make it more sour, just add a little bit of citric acid. But the last thing here is, it needs to be green. So, green coloring, a couple drops in. Oh yeah. Now that's the color of green apple Jolly Ranchers. We've basically created liquid green apple Jolly Rancher. Oh, that's friggin' good.
Bottle it up and your syrup is done.
All right, our infused apple vodka is ready. Our sour apple syrup is ready. All that's left to do now is to mix the two together to create the liqueur. So we're gonna blend it. I'm gonna go for a 1-to-1 ratio because this is a sweet liqueur, sweet and sour liqueur, but this is a sweet liqueur. We're going 1-to-1 here because you don't want this to be a strong liqueur, you want this to be a sweet liqueur.
Okay, so we're just going to dump in our vodka here, our infused green apple vodka. As I mentioned, we made about 300 ml, and that's exactly what we want. And then we're going to add equal parts, 300 ml of our syrup. And I had some extra syrup here, so start with the extra. Just add that in. Always good to have measuring cups. And get from the bottle, because we didn't quite have the 300 ml. Excellent. And then I'm just gonna add a few drops of green coloring just to make that color pop a little more in the liqueur. Taste and adjust.
Apple flavor's on point. I might add a little bit of acid. I like it. The apple flavor is great. Now we've got the acidity where we like it. I'm gonna keep it here, but it could be a touch sweeter. If you wanna do that, you can either add more of your syrup, although that might skew the balance of your acidity because the syrup has some acidity to it. So if you wanna just up the sweetness, add a little bit of simple syrup to balance that out. But I'm happy with this, so we're gonna bottle it. All right, sour apple liqueur, sour apple pucker is done. I think I've had this in like 20 plus years. It's got this kind of thing when you start drinking, this is what you go for, but that's friggin' good. It's liquefied alcoholic green apple Jolly Ranchers, which is my favorite Jolly Rancher. Oh, that's good. Well, there's only one thing left to do. Let's make an Appletini.
So there are so many recipes for Appletinis online. This is the one I'm gonna use. We're gonna go equal parts of vodka and sour green apple liqueur. So we're not going easy on the teeny. We're going equal parts on the teeny. Okay, so 1.5 ounces of vodka, 1.5 ounces of green apple liqueur, sour apple liqueur. Then we're gonna do just 1/2 ounce of lemon juice and 1/4 ounce of simple syrup. A lot of recipes called for sweet and sour mix. I don't make that, so that's why I'm doing just a bit of lemon and a bit of sugar. All right, shaky shake, double strain into a Nick and Nora, and garnish.
Well, there it is, my first ever Appletini. Cheers. I mean, I can definitely see the appeal. It's sweet, it's sour, that nice apple flavor. It's not overly strong. So yeah, there's definitely an appeal. My only issue with this, I almost feel like the vodka just dilutes the flavor of the liqueur. I prefer just to drink the straight liqueur. Like I said, that was pure candy. This is slightly diluted. Obviously there's more alcohol because you're adding the vodka. I mean, this is the issue with a lot of vodka drinks, right? So the vodka is diluting the apple liqueur, but it's not adding anything of its own. It's just adding alcohol. So I feel it's very flat with a background of sour apple flavor. I would much rather have maybe a gin or a rum that can actually contribute something to the drink and then just have apple in the background. Or maybe, hell, it may be an apple brandy. They give it extra apple punch and just get that nice sour note on the end. That might work too. So, definitely a fun drink. Love the liqueur, so I'm gonna need to find some more cocktails to make using that liqueur. Let me know if you got some awesome cocktails to make with sour apple liqueur, sour apple pucker. Comment down below, what would you like me to make? Otherwise, guys, this has been a lot of fun. This is not a hard liqueur to get. Every liquor store, there's so many brands of sour apple pucker out there. So yeah, it's not like it's a hard one to get, but you know, it's part of the fun of making homemade liqueurs is seeing what you can make. And this was a fun one to make. So if you want to see more homemade liqueurs, I have a whole playlist of homemade liqueurs that you can check out. If you want to see apple cocktails, I've got an array. I mean, I don't have a lot of sour apple cocktails because I just made the liqueur, but I've got a whole array of apple cocktails you can check out. Check out this playlist right here. Otherwise, guys, thanks for sticking around. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.